Good morning. Oh, let's try that again. Good morning. Welcome to 1 Million Cups, Susquehanna Valley. My name is Kendi Alvarez. I am the lead organizer, and I get that title, but really all of the work is done by our amazing organizing team that includes Steve Stumbris, Alex Fleck, Natalie, Diane. We've just got all of these wonderful people that operate as speaker coaches and lots of help behind the scenes just making this all happen. And so I want you to look around the room and see that there are lots of people here, and we're all here to engage around entrepreneurship. And so the way that 1 Million Cups works is it is an entrepreneurial ecosystem to empower and engage entrepreneurs. We are all here because we believe in entrepreneurship. What it means for our two speakers is that they get the opportunity to come up. They've got 6 minutes to present to us on their business idea. And then we as the community have 20 minutes to help them work through some of the challenges that are facing by providing them either information or resources. So without further ado, we will start with our first presenter today, who is Alex, being introduced by Alex.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you out, having coffee, enjoying the community. So today I'm here to introduce Alex Chiardella. Alex is a senior here at SU. So when we do these events, we like to get somebody from SU presenting their business idea, the concept, taking it forward, and somebody in the entrepreneurial community coming in and doing the same thing. So that's what we're here to do today. Alex has a concept, a business called Greenlight Studios. So she's a creative writer and editing and production. And her concept that she's here to talk today about is a game which is environmentally conscious. And we need to help her get it to the next level. So she's got some concepts and ideas, and she'll discuss some of the issues she's encountering, and hopefully we can all come together and make some connections for her, get her to the next level with the development and design of her game. So I won't go too far into it. It's a cool little concept, and I'm excited to hear more about it. So Alex, would you like to come on up?
Hi, like Alex said, I'm Alex Ciardella. Really excited to be here. So, yep, my presentation is on a project I'm working on called Sprout. So a bit about me. I am a senior here at Susquehanna University. I'm about to graduate in about a month, so really anxious. Creative writing, publishing and editing, double major. I do have a bit of experience in marketing and design from internships and just working on personal projects. So a bit about Greenlight Studios. One of our mottos is to try to promote environmentally conscious mindsets for our players and our target audience, because when I came up with this idea, I was in a very environmentally conscious place, because here on campus we're also very environmentally conscious. We try to live with the land of the campus as well. So when I thought of this, I got a lot of inspiration from my classes and from my own school. So a bit of a synopsis of the game. You play as Sprout, who's a little tree-like character, and I'll show you a photo of him in a few moments. And he discovers that his home is being destroyed through deforestation. So traveling through the forest, Sprout must try to stop the deforestation, the humans who are trying to take over his home, and also save everybody else. The game, I plan it to be a 2.5D platformer, so if you don't know what that is, don't worry. It's a bit of video game jargon, so the best way to describe it is, if you all know about Super Mario, how that's a platforming game, imagine that but with more 3D graphics and more of a depth of field. So the camera is fixed, but the playing field is still very flat. So if for those of you who aren't very familiar with video games, that's the best way I can describe it. So a bit about the gaming industry, some facts that I looked up while I was researching my project a couple months ago. About 66% of Americans consider themselves to be gamers. I consider myself to be a gamer. someone you might know might be a gamer or consider themselves to be a gamer. This equals to about 214 million Americans. About roughly 3.24 billion people across the world play video games, which values the gaming industry at about $184 billion. So, yes, this is a very, especially in the last few years, this has been a very involved industry, and more people have been getting into video game design, especially since it's become a lot more easier with being able to just download it onto a laptop or use your computer. So there also are a lot of other genres you can use for games versus books or movies, because the video game media is very interactive and you can kind of create your own story using the tools that somebody else gave you. So this is the current status we're at. Majority of it is drafting concept work, planning out the story to make sure that it reflects our themes. As you can see here in the corner, that's Sprout, or my draft of him. So as you can tell, I'm not that great at concept work, but I am very proud of him because he's a very cute character and very much what I envisioned to be my protagonist of the game. A little bit more concept work. I know you're not supposed to, but I used AI art in order to make most of this since I cannot draw. For the life of me, I can't do digital art. But top left corner is a envisioning what the monsters will look like, so the robotic monsters who cut down trees. A bit of field work on one of the characters, and a rough level design in the bottom half. So a couple issues that I faced. Originally, our group was comprised of 3 people. It is currently just me now because of outside stressors and, just school life getting in the way. This involves scheduling conflicts as well. But since I am now a smaller team, I am in need of talent and looking for people who have programming skills and who are a lot more familiar with game design mechanics. So my end goal of this, it was originally to make a game, but since I am a lot more limited in my scope, I currently want to be able to at least make up a mock idea or a demo and be able to sell this to a professional development team so that they can take it much further than I can. I think I will benefit from a completed demo showcase, and I also want to try to market the product through the proper channels. So I have very limited. I have a very limited network. So what I would want is to be able to know where I can look in order to basically move this project further. So what I ask from you is to help me build my network, find people who might know how to code or program or even market this product properly, so it's not just me, and also maybe some more creative ideas for funding opportunities besides like GoFundMe, maybe Patreon if I have to. But because currently I am provided funding from the school, I'm in a project called the Build Collaborative where I am given $3,000, in order to build my project. And by the end of the year, when I graduate, I'm going to lose that money. So I need to find ways to make money so I can make this project. Thank you.
Questions? Comments? Oh, sorry.
Hi, Alex. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Fleck, and Emma Fleck. I'm Professor of Entrepreneurship here at Susquehanna. Who do you imagine to be the target audience for this gaming system, and what platform do you see it on?
So the majority of target audiences for video gamers are mostly people from the ages of 14 to mid to late 20s, especially with the online community. It's kind of easy to get things moving around. I'm sorry, what was your second part of the question?
What platform do you think that they would purchase their game on? Is it like an app, or is it something for Xbox? I know very much about this.
So most of the time when there is a new developer, they either would go to one of two places, Steam or itch.io. So that there you can present your game, people can download it and pay for it. So those are the two most popular platforms and the two most trusted.
It was a great catch, I know. Hi, James Tierney. I am teaching entrepreneurial finance here right now at Susquehanna, small business owner down in State College. So have you researched into other indie game development and what their kind of timeline was of maybe creating community first, Discord, etc., Patreon, storytelling, before getting into the actual game development? Have you found any great models that have already happened that you could follow?
Yeah, there is actually one that I'm blanking on his name right now, but he recently made a horror video game called Choo Choo Charles. It's a horror game with a spider train. So you have to outrun the spider train, and it was in development for a little over a year, and it was one man, and it was a huge hit on online. People, almost everybody on YouTube was playing it at one point. So I kind of took that as maybe not the norm, but at least, the most successful story of, one person, one idea, and being able to execute it pretty well. So in terms of like a timeline, I would say definitely at least a few years, because again, I'm not a programmer. I don't know how to program. I don't know how long stuff like that would take, but it definitely, I was definitely put into perspective when I had to work with a couple other people who showed me, like, this is what we have to do for programming, and this is how long it's going to take. And what I thought was going to take a few months would actually likely take like 2 to 3 years. So I'm more aware of the timeline. However, in terms of programming, I'm not going to be as involved with that part, but more of the design part and then helping the programmers. So if that answers your question.
Jason has a question online.
Hi. First of all, very cool. I like the idea of games that have a message, and a theme to them, a moral to the story, so to speak. But furthermore, my thinking is that your very first step may be to hire an illustrator on to do a video, to create an animation that kind of shows your concept, where you don't have to program the game. You simply have to, talk someone through creating an animation. And, your budget of $3,000 you definitely could find a quality animator to do a short 60 to 120 second video to present your game, because I think that that's one of the challenges that you have now, is that you don't have that natural artistic ability, but you know what you want it to look like and you want it to feel like. So being able to work with someone there. I have found them on Fiverr, and I've worked with a couple of animators that I can reach out to and connect you with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I have been in contact with concept artists. Unfortunately, due to the Build Collaborative, my professor wants us to try to stay in the area, so he advised against going on Fiverr and all those other talent finding websites. So under the Build Collaborative, we're trying to stay in the Susquehanna area. However, once I graduate and I can push this project forward, I definitely would be able to go on to Fiverr. But that is a great idea, that they try and get a short animation to help portray what I'm thinking of and what I want to see, and then using that to kind of sell my idea to programmers and official dev teams. So thank you.
Hi, I'm a fellow student at Susquehanna University, and I consider myself a gamer. You said your focus is environmental. How does this help the environmental crisis going on? Stardew Valley, Minecraft, and Don't Starve teach about deforestation because there is a focus on resource management. How would this be different to get gamers' interests?
Yeah, so since I am a creative writer, my game is more focused on the narrative. So if you can recall, if you've ever played like a video game that had a very deep story that emotionally moved you and made you almost want to cry, that's kind of what I'm trying to go for. I want the players to sympathize with with their player character Sprout, and to I basically want them to cry at the end of the game. So, yes, that's basically what I just said. The narrative for me is the most important right now. But again, if I do get to work with someone who is more adept at game mechanic design, maybe they could help me figure out a way that we could weave the two together to make a more cohesive game.
I don't trust myself.
Hi, I'm Denny Hummer. I'm with the Bucknell Small Business Development Center, and I heard you say you're looking possibly for additional funding. So a couple ideas. One, I watched a gaming company that had a full team do an equity crowdfund on Indiegogo. It would be worth just kind of exploring to see what others are doing and what kind of video and what kind of animation they're putting out there and what kind of traction they're getting. And you can just borrow some of their ideas and see what kind of traction they're getting. And even just following what kind of funders they're getting, because you could definitely go out and find other people with, similar interest to you that are willing to fund a project with your ideas. There's also a creative artist accelerator program in Pennsylvania right now that could find you maybe a couple $1,000s depending on your residence and where you're at. So we'd be happy to share more about that.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
I'm currently living in New Jersey, so I don't know if that would.
Probably would cause some conflict there, but it's still always, it never hurts to ask. We know what the answer is if we don't ask, so.
Yeah.
So you said that it's very narrative based. Do you have that narrative already completed as creative writer?
Yes, I do. I have the rough design of it written out and basically the beats of the game. So I don't have it in the presentation right now. I have it in my personal Google Doc, but.
Have you thought of maybe like self-publishing on Amazon or something, even just as a small book, just to hold a little bit of that intellectual property? Because it'll be easier to sell to somebody as like, I would love to turn this story and this narrative that I've created, that my name is on it, that has copyright, into a game. And it's very simple to go through the Amazon process of self-publishing. Have you thought of that?
That never crossed my mind. So by that, do you mean publish like a novel or publish like a screen written?
Short stories, novel, anything that can, when someone comes to you and says, oh, I do like this idea, you say, well, I have this ownership, so I would love to partner with you with this percentage or whatever to turn this into a video game. So because I know the first line up there, you said you really were interested in hopefully taking this idea and selling it to a developer. The developers aren't going to buy an idea, but they'll buy part of that IP that you already own. So I would 100% get it all written out, self-publish it somewhere, just so you have a little piece of paper that you can hold on to.
Sounds interesting. I definitely will look into it.
Yeah.
So you talked about how it's a narrative. Does the narrative as you play change the game? So like if you make a certain decision, does it have an impact on the game? Because I'm kind of concerned about your market. A lot of gamers are not, to be completely honest, are not focused about environmental change. So there is going to be a smaller demographic that you're going to be marketing towards, and that's what I'm concerned about. So I'd be focused more on like a game that has decision-based impacts. I was wondering if that's kind of your decision where you're going, or is your focus just the narrative?
Yeah, definitely. When we were discussing it, we were considering multiple different endings, or your actions kind of change or basically what you do will influence the rest of the story. We were definitely considering it, but again, since my group wasn't able to properly communicate with each other, it kind of came apart, is the best way I could explain it. So we tried our best to do it, but right now what I want to do is to try to get this a little bit farther off the ground. But I definitely did think of multiple different endings.
So I'm going to show my age here, and I feel like your story is one of those choose your own adventure novels, right? Yeah. And so, but it's that there's an environmental impact to all of the decisions that are made. And so if you aren't familiar with the choose your own adventure novels, I would recommend that you find one. I'm sure they have them somewhere in the library here with lots of dust on them because we're that old. But it's that whole concept of having a story where at different points there are positions that you can take, and then in those positions it guides you to another aspect of the story. And so designing like a few of your potential outcomes and writing a short story in that way, and self-publishing would be really good, because then you can take it, and then you can take it even further. I wouldn't advise doing a whole novel, but starting off with some of the concepts, so that you've got proof of concept to then be able to pitch.
Yeah, I am familiar with the Choose Your Own Adventures, so don't worry.
I was like, do they still read that? I don't know. Any other?
My name is Dave, and I have 2 kids who play games on some of those platforms you talked about. And I would say the first thing you should do is probably focus on fun. Like, your message is there, but if I said to my kids, do you want to play this game about saving the environment? I mean, they probably would try it, but not jump into it. So I would say focus on fun first, make it fun and cool, and then trick them into learning something.
Okay.
Yeah, because one thing to take into consideration is the money's not going to come from your target playing audience. The money's going to come from the parents who are going to look into this and make the decision whether or not they're going to either a subscription-based app or a subscription-based game. So, like, just to kind of jump on what he said, make it fun for the kids, but also make it educational enough that they're getting your message out of it, and know that you're targeting the parents to be the ones that pay for it.
Okay.
I really, even with the pencil sketch of the lead character, it's appealing. You have something that really expresses something creative. I love what Jason said about connecting with an illustrator and animator to help you fully realize that concept. And one thing that came to mind is you were talking about how video games have become a huge industry and have permeated pop culture. Is right. Who knows what the top movie in the country is this past week?
Super Mario Brothers.
All right. So it's not just the game. It's not just experiencing that character, that story through the game. I like what James said about diversification of that product, that intellectual property. So just pulling a few threads together, fundraising. I could readily imagine a crowdsourced campaign for you that has other ways to experience and represent Sprout and the themes that they have. One thought towards that is those products, if it's a printed T-shirt, have the sourcing of those products align with the environmental theme. So just a few thoughts on how to take it one step further, and I wish you a lot of luck in that.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask one more question or a comment. And again, somebody that knows business can jump in, because we can talk afterwards, because I can talk all day long about the development of games in C# and the different engines and stuff, which we can talk about afterwards. But from the fundraising standpoint, would it be possible to use the message of this as some kind of like even grant money? Could that cover it for education, if this is an education game rather than an entertainment game? Could that be something?
I definitely did consider that,
Okay.
writing to I don't know. I was talking with somebody about it before, and she recommended national parks. I don't know if they have funding or grants like that, but definitely writing towards environmentally conscious businesses and nonprofits could definitely benefit me a lot in the long run.
And another thing that you could consider, I don't know if you went down this path of looking into things, but there's it's like a educational program called Girls Who Code. It's in a bunch of different places, and if this platform can be something that's actually built on Python rather than like a C# and a visual engine, it could even be turned into something where they might want to take up and turn it into a Python program, because then you can run it on the visual editor like Scratch that is ran, through those first step educational programming processes. So just another avenue to consider is having organizations that are already teaching technology, maybe implement, like was said back here, create the story and let other people use it in different ways.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
All right. So I kind of have like a little bit of a question, but kind of just to raise like an idea to you. I don't know if you've kind of looked toward what you would think about what your revenue model would be, because that would definitely help towards your idea and like kind of your mock-up of everything. And kind of just looking towards the environmental part of things. Have you ever considered something more of like you donate part of your profit to different environmental funds, things like that could kind of get like a VC or anyone that would be willing to give you any kind of funding, kind of something behind it to give you more of an inspiration for them to give you money towards that?
Yeah, I definitely did consider, stating like, oh, every $5, however much the game will cost in the future, will go towards this group to, kind of promote the whole environmental theme and to kind of show players that like their money will also help. They get to be entertained, but their money will also be able to help a noble cause.
Awesome.
Last question?
Hi, I'm Obi with the brothers that just do gutters. Sorry, I missed the earlier piece of the presentation. I had to step out. What is the end goal for this for you?
So for me, I want to be able to sell this game to a game development company. The end goal of the whole video game is I want it to be finished and to be able to sell it. But my own personal goals is to just be able to get the ball rolling with this idea and be able to basically push it out of my Google Drive and, onto Steam.
So what stage is it at right now?
We're currently at the development, drafting, design stage. So currently still, I have about 1/4 left of the game levels to think of and plan out. And I also need to work on some of the concept art and the official artwork of the game.
So do you have a demo to share?
Not currently, I don't have a demo. Everything you saw on the slides were the basically a collection of what I have currently.
Okay. And are you willing to do any make any changes if somebody comes in and asks for some tweaks to be made to your idea?
Definitely, I'd be open to different opinions and changes to the idea. Obviously, I don't want someone to take it and completely change it, but I am open to suggestions and different ideas of the game.
And I heard that you don't have a programmer.
I don't, not currently.
And if somebody is willing to take it on, are you willing to partner with the person?
I'd definitely be interested in contacting them and talking to them about the project.
Okay, because I have a friend, he's actually based in Texas, and he builds games like this. One of the games, I can't remember the name now, I'm not a game person, but we spoke, I think December 31st actually. I met him last, and he told me about a game he's building, and he is very good in coding, programming, and things like that. Just after 3 months of building it, I think he put it somewhere, and right away he got a lot of people who were interested in it, and he got some companies that wanted to buy it off right from him. I think it was $500,000 as a then, and after a couple of tweaks he made to it, it's people started asking him for about $700,000. So my advice to him then was not to sell yet. So get it to the next level, to the next stage, and then do a little bit of advertising, then sell. he can sell it for up to 2 million. So if you're willing, I can connect you to him, and you go from there.
I would definitely be interested. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. Okay, and so some announcements. Our next 1 million cups will be on May 10th. And that's again the second Wednesday of May. That will be at 30 Lawton Lane in Milton at the Central PA Chamber of Commerce. So mark your calendars. It will be listed on our Facebook page as an event and advertised by our many sponsors, of whom I will mention now. The Small Business Development Center at Bucknell, the Greater Susquehanna Valley Chamber of Commerce, the Central PA Chamber of Commerce, the Columbia Montour Chamber of Commerce, Mindset. We cannot forget our amazing tech sponsor that keeps us all looking so fabulous, Mark Burke and his team at Mindset. Were you recording that for an ad, right? MediaStead. And so our next presenter will be introduced by one of our other speaker coaches, Natalie.
Good morning, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Dave Tamkis. Dave has a degree in graphic design. He started out working at a print shop, and that's where he began his journey. From there, he went on to work at Wise Markets in their marketing department, but soon discovered that that was not fulfilling to him. He wanted to do something on his own. So he began taking steps to start his own company. One of the things that I loved about our interactions was that he really knew what he wanted. He knew the areas in which he needed to grow to get there, and he was intentional about taking those steps, which is what brings him to you folks today. So please welcome Dave Tamkis of Tamkis Art and Designs.
Well, that was pretty much my whole presentation she just said, so yeah, probably got the, do you want me to go wide stance? Good? Yeah. I'm going to try not to swear, because usually that just comes out pretty naturally. So my name is Dave Tamkis, owner of Tamkis Art Design. Maybe. Oh, there I am, right there. Just a little bit about, I have to aim it at something? Okay, so I specialize in, graphic design stuff like logos, brochures, billboards, and also some of the more fine art service stuff like fine art prints. And I also have found a niche doing hand-painted signs as well around. Did I break it?
Apparently I'm going to be when you go like this.
All right. I'll try not to hit in the eye. So this is some of my logo work that you can see here. I mean, it's working with clients, understanding what they need, and bringing their vision to life. Got to come up with a unique and creative solution and understand the process of where the logo is going to be applied later. Is it just going to be on web? Is it going to be on web and business cards? Are they going to put it on a billboard? As you can see here, this is just some of the different logos that I've done around town. I mean, well, not even around town. Glove Stories with Murph, that's kind of all over the place in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. And, 8th Street Entertainment is somewhere local to Shamokin. They wanted a logo to kind of encapsulate their fun little environment. Some other design work, so this is just falls into the brochures and menus and billboard things. It's developing something that represents the client's values and principles. You have to, obviously you can't do something fun and exciting if it's a more serious company. You have to understand your clients. This is some of the hand-painted signs here, the next two slides actually. They're all handcrafted. They all start on my computer from my background in design. I kind of lay it all out and get it approved by the client before any paint touches the wood. This is just some of the different things I've done over the last few years. Up top is just some lettering at Oliver's Cigar Lounge in Shamokin. There's a hand-painted bench I just finished up back in February at Covered Bridge. This one down here was actually my first like mural that I did. The other thing is I'm not really scared to say no, or I never did it before. I mean, that barber asked me to do that. I never did that style before. I drew it up on my iPad. She loved it, and it took about 3 hours to get it hammered out. And actually, on my website, there's a pretty cool video that my buddy shot of me actually doing it. So if you have a chance, go check out my website, and it's on there. Edgewood Swim Club is one that I did last year. Again, that started on my computer. That's hanging, at the swimming pool now. And then finally, we got the Welcome to Shamokin board front and back. It was a hand-painted map with some markers to identify some businesses around town. And then it actually ties into the AOA ATV park. So the other side is kind of a signifier for the ATVs. This is where you go to get back to where you need to go. And then this was the biggest one that I did. This is Clark's Feed Mill on Route 61 right outside of Shamokin. That big one on the far side here is 20 feet wide by 40 feet tall, and is about, the top is like 50 feet in the air. The other one is right next to it to the left of the big one, and that's 96 feet by 4 feet. I went and quoted the job. The one question they had was, "Are you scared of heights?" I didn't have any reason to believe I wasn't. Rented a 50-foot lift, went up to prep the wall. The first time I went up, I was like, I just want to quit and go home. But I forced myself to do it. I'm not scared of heights anymore. That took me about 2 weeks to do. I did that back at the end of the summer in 2020. Next. Just some other stuff, and you guys can, I could have made a presentation that was like 6 miles long. You can go on my website, Tamkis Art and Design, and you can see some of the fun stuff that I do. Because I also do a lot of acrylic paintings. I've had shows in museums. I do digital work as well. Lots of stickers. I have some stickers. I don't know if I have enough for everybody, but I have some stickers that you guys can have. And then also I do co-own another business called Shamokin Shirt Company, and I do all the design work for those shirts as well. So that's with my buddy Chad, and it just kind of play into the vintage, retro Shamokin back when we were kids and a little bit before that, kind of make up all the designs. And we launched that back at the end of November. A couple code guys actually helped us out with the website, but you can check out my work there too. So now we get into the problems. So I have, like Natalie said, a background in graphic design, ran a print shop, advertising department at Wise Markets. I still do have a full-time job. I'm in sales right now, so I work, 40, 50 hours a week doing that and do all this other stuff on the side. And I'm kind of at this point now where there's only so many hours in the day. I know what my magic number is of what I need to do this full-time, and I'm kind of stuck in this. I can't really take on much more work because there's only so many hours in the day. But also I have a wife and 2 kids, and they need to eat, I don't, I can't take one for the team for a month. So that's kind of the first part of my problem, is if I quit my job tomorrow, what would I do with those 50 hours to hit that number I need for the week? And then basically, where do I start? I have been very fortunate in my time freelancing. I don't really solicit much work. I don't ever stop talking about my stuff. I have conversations with people and they remember me and come back, but it's never like I'm out there actively cold calling places, looking for work. It's just, is there a market that I would have the best return on investment of using my time to gain more work? And then how do I compete? The trouble with design, and this isn't even considering now day of age of like the AI stuff, but one thing I've heard regularly is, it's design work, unfortunately, is not valued quite how it should be. You know, people don't know. A menu is a menu, but not all menus are good menus. But their nephew knows how to make a menu in Microsoft Word. So, and it was like, hey, I gave him an opportunity and paid him $20. Or, you know, now you have things like Canva, and people are just doing things on Canva. So what's the best pitch to get to people to you know, sell my service as what it is? And then.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Good.
I suppose, how long have you been doing this for, the design work?
So officially as a company, freelance company, like three years or so, but like unofficially off the books, like for, I don't know, 15, 20 years.
Okay, cool. So what about, you're talking about making the most of your time, trying to maximize that, but then the converse element is AI stuff coming out, people devaluing, you know, creative art and so on. Have you thought about coaching? I mean, you talked about when you're creating the logos and how you match it to the client, you know, that kind of underlying level of this is why we do what we do and this is why we place these things here. These are how we look at colors and associations and trying to design something that marries with the client and sort of imparting what you've learned to other people who are trying to get into that, even if they're just trying to do like an AI type, you know, oh, create this with this type of infusion, you know, trying to create that connection between your knowledge, because those other people don't know that stuff, and giving them something of value where if they want to, they can take it on and it doesn't devalue what you're doing because it's all strategy and knowledge based. You know, like I have the same thing with digital marketing. So my main company is digital marketing, but I do a lot of coaching on the side or consulting where I kind of, you know, teach people how to do what I've learned over the last 17, 18 years.
Right.
So they buy courses from me and, you know, I do some coaching sessions, some consulting where it's literally, you know, they pay me for like 4 sessions and I teach them how to do certain things, create videos online, you know, that kind of thing.
Right. I haven't considered that now. I mean,
it's just, it's a good way to monetize it without, you know, if you're having, it's another revenue stream.
Right.
So you can, once you do the work, you create the content, it's, you know, you can do it on subscription or just one-time courses, but it's just like a secondary revenue stream on top of your own.
Right.
You know, the
no,
work
yeah,
that's
that makes
coming in.
sense for sure.
Something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I think a follow-up to that is, so design work is a tough sell for people who don't value design. And so to the people who do value design, then it becomes a question of how do you show them your process, right? Because we're in the same business, so we design events. So people who don't want to design, we're never going to convince, I know this sounds a little bipolar, but we're never going to convince them that the value of design is high.
The people who are already doing their thing on Microsoft Word don't care. They have it.
I question whether or not that's truly your ideal client.
Right.
Right, and because I think in the end, if you want people who value design, then you have to show them that your design process is one that they can't live without, right? And because they already know, it's like, oh, I have to have something better. I've got to have something. And what they want to do is say, how does Dave take this out of my head and make this real? And then you say, oh, well, we just do this process. We're going to go through this routine. You're going to have these check-in points. This is what I'm going to give you. So you spell that out, and they're like instantly like, I can buy that, because they buy the process, even if they don't understand the design itself.
No, that makes sense, yeah.
Ever thought of student workers?
I'm sorry, what?
Student workers? Student interns?
I haven't, no. I mean, and the other thing is, this is all out of my house. Are they good at cleaning?
They're really good at remote work.
Okay.
So, and again, you're not talking, we've got professional sales course here, like if you're talking about the things that you don't have time for.
Right.
They're not asking, you know, I'm not talking about graphic designers to employ, but the things that you don't necessarily love to do or good at.
The cleaning.
If you can find that student, send them to my house too.
All right, hi, my name is Ayana Ife. I'm with Ayana Active, a sustainable sportswear brand. So I see you have a lot of ideas from your the information you have that was on your website, it looks like you're doing shirt designs, you're doing signs. So there's a lot of different things.
Yes.
From those things, is there something that stands out the most to you, that you enjoy doing the most and you get a lot of traction for?
It seems like the hand painted sign thing has been picking up a little bit, and I do like having the hands-on aspect of it, and it ties into, you know, it starts with a logo design essentially,
Right.
First, and then translates into the hand-on part of it, doing the signs. So that's definitely an area that I do enjoy doing.
And you're getting traction for it.
It's starting to pick up a little bit. I mean, since I probably sent this presentation in, I kind of sort of answered my one question. The second one, I think, or, you know, which market would I go to?
Right.
And I kind of took it upon myself to reach out to some local food trucks.
Okay.
And I have a list of, I don't know, about 12 of them. I reached out to 8 of them and heard back from 2 of them. One I already met with, and we're kind of really close to buttoning up a project that I'm going to be working on. The other one said, hey, we'll keep you in mind. We got some things coming up, but we're not quite ready yet. And then I think, you know, there's plenty more food trucks out there. So just kind of compiling a better list of more and going from there, because that's one. I mean, the project that I almost have buttoned up would be a hand painted sign menu board for the food truck, but then that also translates to, you know, maybe a paper menu or you know, some other things. So
So I would recommend getting, it seems like you need help with organization, with structure, and with a plan. So I would recommend getting yourself a mentor. I'm a strong believer in mentorship. It's helped me organize myself because I have a designer's mind, and when you're a creative, you tend to be interested in a lot of different things. And so having a plan is going to help you stay on track. It's going to help you decide what your actual goal is and who your clientele should be, or who your ideal client is.
Right.
Once you know who that is, you can get a little bit of traction from an area, then you can build on that. Say, for example, if making those hand-painted signs and climbing the ladder is a great way for you to tell your story and get more people interested in what you do, then from there you can start to offer like secondary and like tertiary and things like that, other options that can build on it. You can have like packages or different things that you could offer to these brands. So off the top of my head, I would say get a mentor. SBDC, we have Denny Hummer right here, he's a great mentor. So get a mentor, and then from there they'll help you put together, it could be a quick plan, it could just be some kind of a map for you to navigate that can take that extra stress off of the back of your head, and it kind of clears things up for you and makes it a little bit more seamless for you to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So that's what I would say, mentorship.
Hey Dave, Jason online has a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Yeah, my comment was just to focus on things that Canva can't do. Like I like the outdoor signs. I like the idea of doing food trucks. Skins for automobiles would be another area, and you can work with the people who sell products in order to say, okay, I'm the designer you want to call in when you have someone that says, hey, I want to skin my car, and they're going to create this wrap, and you know, you design it and they sell it. You know what I mean? It's ultimately their product, but yeah, I think I would, in a small market like this, focus heavily on big things, the things that you can't possibly do with WordPress and Canva. I love the, you know, the giant signage that you did, and you know that anyone that hires you to do that is going to trust you to design a menu or something like that as well. So you'll get additional work from the same clients if you target the big jobs. I would only put those on your website. I would ignore everything else. Make sure your website is really focused on the one thing that you're going to do better than anybody else, and the market will find you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Julian Deshomme. I'm a senior here at SU. And one thing, hearing about your process that you're talking about, like a low-cost way of marketing as well, it doesn't really require a lot, would be, was I've noticed that there are videos of artists just recording them, do what you're doing. Just record yourself making the sign, record yourself making the shirt, and like time-lapse it, like put it in 2x speed and just post it. Like just recording what you're doing and posting it on whatever platform, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
And I do have a few of those on. I have a YouTube channel with not a lot. The problem that I had with it was the line between doing the work and all that setup to. And you're exactly right. Yeah, you're exactly right. But I didn't agree with you. But it was, at what point am I the guy painting the thing versus the guy who's the content creator, videographer? There's one on my YouTube that I shot the whole thing myself, and it was fun and it came together, but it was pain.
I was gonna say, because it's also just, I know I'm not really an artist. I don't really watch those videos to like do what you're doing, but it kind of just calms me down just to see someone create something so beautiful. And that could be something that people just watch to watch, or.
And I mean, I know I watch them myself. I get sucked down a rabbit hole of, yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you were surrounded by people that have things like, cameras and computer software.
But the problem is I work so sporadic. It's not like I mean, I do most of those smaller hand painted signs out of my basement. So it's like, I have 45 minutes to work on it now, go down and start working on it for a little bit, and then come back 2 days later and work for an hour. So it's not like and it kind of plays into the time thing because that's how I have to work. I don't have 8 or 10 hours on a Monday to just work through this sign and get this one sign done because I'm tied into the other thing.
I have kind of heard that you're looking to increase the value of the services you provide, sustain the
Well, that always
family,
helps, yeah.
and maybe also a way to ensure that that can be done. So in my mind, it is you're looking for the people and help the customers understand that what they're looking for. And some of this has all been said, but this is coming from my mind, hopefully, to yours. So I see that you're looking to help your customers and the potential customers understand that what they're looking for is not even graphic design. It's not even painting, but it's a method to communicate the way that you want them to feel and the way you want them to think when they look at the work you provided. So in my mind, if you're doing a sign for a person on the sidewalk twisting balloons, you might create design in the way you want the child to feel, the way you want the mom to feel when the child's happy. And I believe that's what you're already doing. So I believe that if you can communicate that to your customers, you're going to have a customer base that understands they're not served by the Fivers of the world. They're served only with you. So if I were you, I might consider almost creating, in my mind, it might be a flow chart or something that if this, then that, and sort of lead your customers who are looking for media design and design work, who's your best service. If somebody is low price, I only need simple this, Fiverr.com, take them there, don't waste my time. Right. But if you want your customers to feel the way that you want the mom to know that the way she wants her the rest of her day to be after I've twisted a balloon for Jimmy, maybe I'm your right guy.
Right. No, that makes sense.
I couldn't agree more with that. we've had, with many in this room, I've had the conversation about really knowing who your customer is. The one takeaway that I saw with all the beautiful work that you've done is you've got a lot of big players already in your back pocket. And one of the things you could look at as you test this idea of, can I convert my 50 hours of working for an employer into 50 hours working for yourself? What about talking to some of your big clients right now about a retainer type relationship where not so much a subscription model, but much like with my attorney, you know, he gets so much money every year because he knows I'm going to need his services for something. Kohl's Hardware, all those different players out there that they need artwork all the time. You know, hey, would you guys be willing to put $1,000 in a month? We know you're going to need our services. We're going to guarantee you this much time. You know, create that diversified revenue stream where you've got so much of it comes from that guaranteed incomes. That takes a little bit stress away from you. You know there's those dollars that are going to be rolling in. You're going to have the freelance work, the one-off pieces that come in, and trying to figure out all those different things and looking at it. So instead of trying to digest this as one big animal that's kind of scary and all this other stuff, let's look at it in the pieces and where's the low-hanging fruit. Let's go after that, and then let's fill in the rest of the pieces.
Very much similar to that. I know one of the problems you were talking about is, you know, you have this magic number that you have to reach, right? Have you sat down and done like a 3-year projection, 3-year budget of like, this is what I would need to make and this is what I think I can do, revenue costs? Like if you do that whole thing out, right? If you have the passion that you have and the stuff, like, and you can show I'm going to make this much, that's going to be a heck of a lot easier to go to someone and be like, look, I need you to give me $200K for the next 2 years because I know I can make this work, right? I had to make that similar decision recently of leaving a full-time job with benefits and retirement. And the thing that really helped my family and I decide to step away was like doing the work of setting it up and saying, this is what I think can happen, you know, giving myself a timeline. I've got 3 years to make sure that I get there. And if not, that job will be there. Because my guess is like that sales job that you have right now is going to be there in 2 years, right? It's
I would think, yeah.
Well,
I'm not above doing any kind of work.
Exactly. Right? So the biggest hurdle that I had to do was I've always had this safety net under me, and I fall into that trap all the time. So I changed my safety net from being the full-time job to the safety net being, here's the budget, here's the stat, here's the data, and I just have to make sure I hit that. And as long as I do, I feel much more calm and comfortable. So I don't know if you've done that yet. If not, I would more than happy to help you out with it.
Right. I mean, yeah, probably like a year, not 3 years. And I guess my question back to you would be, how did you secure some kind of business loan for that period of time to give you the, like, I have some money saved. I know how many weeks, months, you know, I could go with no income currently. Did you have something to supplement that, or did you just go off your savings?
I was extremely privileged and lucky that throughout the pandemic, my wife and I were able to save a decent amount of money. Plus, I don't have 2 children. I have 2 dogs, but their food's not expensive. So I didn't go out and grab funding, but I do know that funding is available, you know, small business and everything like that. If you have the ducks in a row, they'll sit down and they'll talk with you. And if they think you're a good bet, I mean, that's how they make money, right? Bet on good people, get them to pay you back with, you know, 5, 10, 15%.
So you're not saying dog food for the kids?
No, I mean, trust me, there are some dog foods out there that are way more nutritious than so, yeah. Going up.
I just have a comment. So I know you mentioned that you're not sure, you know, if you want to quit your job. And
no, I'm sure that it's just the money thing.
Okay, so the thing is, this is something you want to pursue full time. You're not interested in like keeping it, I guess, on not the back burner, but like as a side.
I don't know that like going part time on my full time job would be an option for the employer. You know, like I don't know that I'd be like, hey, let's just cut my hours in half and do it that way. I mean, I think at that point, I think it would be an all or none situation. So, not to say that there's other jobs out there that would be part-time too. And I've thought about that too, so.
And I fully agree with, sorry, what's your name?
James.
With James. So I used to work for Geisinger, and I was actually the director of corporate compliance there before I resigned, and we started off our business, my wife and I. The fortunate thing about mine is actually my wife is still working, and well, I depend on her, you know, until it's really standing. And we've been in business for couple of our first year will be in May, but the key there is what we did, just like he said, we had, you know, like a growth plan. So we are both accountants, so we did like a financials for the next 5 years to see the growth, you know, model, how we intend to grow in the next couple of months and years. So my first question to you, if you are really planning to exit, you know, paid employment, is what's your backlog right now?
I'm sorry, what's
your backlog? Is it 1 month, 2 months?
I
2
think
weeks?
right now I am about 3 months.
Yeah.
And that's 3 months if, like, literally I didn't get a job. You know, like, I have 3 months reserve cash flow.
No, 3 in terms of jobs.
Oh, in jobs?
Yeah.
Right now, it probably because I haven't been pursuing. I mean, I have probably 4 on my plate currently that could take, you know, anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to complete, but it's not like I have a waiting list of.
And that's with little or no marketing in place.
Correct.
So what do you think if you put in 100% of your time in there, how many, what do you think?
I mean, I think I could probably triple or quadruple that if I was beating the streets and out there.
And how would that, how will you quantify that to what you're actually earning right now?
I'm sorry.
And how will you quantify that, you know, to how much you're currently earning? Do you think it's something that's you'll be at par or will be above? Or
I think that would get me to where I need to be. Yeah, with that.
Okay, then I think you need to think about that.
Yeah, get on the phone. Let's do this now.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Emma?
Oh, thanks very much.
And now a brief message from our host.
Yes, thank you so much to our community members for coming to our campus. We are so delighted to welcome you. Thank you for our speakers for sharing your issues. I really encourage you all to stay and hang out and eat some more food and to talk with one another. I think there's some collaborations that could definitely be effective. And as I run the entrepreneurship program here, and if I can be of assistance to any of our community members, please reach out to me. But thank you for coming, 1 Million Cups. Thanks to Mark for doing all our tech, and thanks to you all for being here today. So, thank you.